Hey everyone, I'm excited to be here with you guys to kick off an incredibly powerful exercise that I do every single year where I create a vision for the year ahead, but in a way that feels accessible and not overwhelming. And the way we do that is we get all the thoughts that we have about who we want to be and how we want to live our life, and we get it down in a vision, and then we take action on that vision. And one of the most important steps that any of us can take in doing that vision is to get our mindset right and reclaim the thoughts that we have about ourselves and the thoughts that we need to have in order to make this vision come alive. And so in this month of January, I'm going to teach you first the vision, then we're going to talk about the thoughts next week, and then we'll talk about aligning your health with all of those thoughts and the vision you have, and then we'll talk about taking action. So I'm going to split it up into these 4 sessions so that you can follow along with me and have a successful year, planning your vision and following through with it, just like I have. And everything that I have put down on my vision board for the last 3 years has truly come to fruition, whether it's finishing my book and going into publishing, creating a podcast. I have generated the exact amount of income and money that I want every single year that I write down that number. Let's see what else is on my vision board. I have gotten consistent with my strength training. I even started some yoga this year. And what's interesting about it is that when you create a vision, instead of really asking yourself to work hard on it all of the time, or to take action every single day, or to really kind of kill yourself over it, some things you just surrender, right? So some things like yoga, I just decided it wasn't something I could fit in, but somehow by the end of the year, I was challenged with somebody else to do a yoga every single day, and I started that. So what I want you guys to know is that some of the things that you have a vision for your life for that year, you can't give up on, because you might get some of it early on in the year and it might surprise you, and you get some of it later on in the year, and anything left over, you always get to put back on your vision for the following year. And it will manifest itself as long as you follow the exact steps that I give you in these live trainings. Okay, so I do want to make sure that you guys can see me and hear me. I'm streaming live into our Facebook group, where I am looking for comments and for people who are here who are ready to learn and ready to get started on creating this vision for themselves. So if you're here, just let me know where you're tuning in from. Let me know what your day is going on right now. Are you in the middle of your lunch break? Are you in the middle of just taking some time for yourself? Or are you watching it on the replay? You can write hashtag replay in the comments so that I know that you caught this sometime later. I know this is going to be important for you. It's important for the women who I work with inside of my energetic eating and transformation programs to get clear on their visions so that they can reclaim their health and make it stick for the long haul. So without further ado, I want to go ahead and get started. I'm going to start with a quick question. When you think about setting goals for the new year, what's the first thing that you focus on? For most of us, the first thing that we focus on is we think about what we didn't do last year. We think about, hey, Danielle, hi, and you're on a break. In Iowa, amazing, cool. So we usually think about what we didn't do, where we failed. We think about what we did too much of, what we didn't do enough of. And then we use all of that negativity to set some goals for ourselves and how we're going to do better this year. Like, oh, I just have to do better. But here's the thing. If we're only looking at what we don't have or what's wrong, it creates this really heavy energy in our bodies, right? If I'm like, oh, I didn't do that, I gained too much weight, I didn't exercise enough, even me saying that brings me to a closed position and makes me feel heavy. So we want to set goals from a place of empowerment, of excitement, of what's next for me, not what can I completely change about myself because I hate where I am right now, because then it feels like a mountain with no end in sight. Instead, we're going to ground ourselves in what we've already accomplished and what we feel proud of. And this is why that matters. When we reflect on what we've accomplished, and rather than what we are at fault of or what we want to blame or what we haven't done, we have confidence, and it immediately creates forward momentum. Okay, it's going to create forward momentum into the future. And we're always rewriting and rewiring these things about ourselves. And I'll teach you more about the thoughts next week. But we want to start with, where am I right now? What have I accomplished? What are the highlights from my life? What do I feel proud of? How am I going to feel closer to the goal that I want, instead of creating all of this space from where I want to go to where I think I am right now? You have to believe that you're close enough to reach up and grab it, instead of dig yourself out of a hole. So for this next part, whether you're watching it on the replay or you're watching live, you are going to want to go back and probably pause it so that you can take the notes. But for right now, if you're just on your break, like Danielle, and maybe if you're on your break, like Kristen, hi, Kristen, then you can just kind of soak it in and listen to what I'm prompting you for. And then you can always go back and you can do this exercise. Okay, so let's start with the first thing. You're going to reflect on the year that you've had, and you're going to celebrate yourself. What I do with my clients is break this down into three different categories. Instead of thinking about all of the things, we're going to think about them categorically, because they all tend to take a priority over our life. The first thing is your career or your finances or your hobbies or caretaking. So that's one category. Okay, call it like the career, financial, and hobby category. So sometimes that takes priority over the next category, which is your relationships, your friendships, your family, your home life, right? Sometimes that takes priority over work, or it takes priority over the third category, which is your health. So when we're reclaiming our health, we want to make sure that our health is a priority all of the time, and it positively influences your career and your relationships. So I'll talk more about that as we get deeper into the training, but that's that first step. You're going to think about, where in my life over the last year have I been successful? Where can I celebrate myself in my career, my finances, or my hobbies, in my relationships, in my home with my partner, or my kids and my friends, or and with your health, your physical health, your mental health, your spiritual health. What did you do to help yourself? How can you celebrate yourself in those areas? Now, here's the really fun part. This year, I took the challenge of doing what Mel Robbins explained in her podcast, where I opened up my photo album in my phone and I went through from January all the way until December. And I saw things, you guys, that I completely forgot about. Things that I didn't even remember existed. Things like selling out my retreat in January, things like going on a Caribbean vacation with my dad and my kids. I couldn't believe that that was something that happened this year. I traveled a lot. I finished my book this year, which is crazy. It's been a 2.5 year labor of love. So I finished that. My daughter graduated from elementary school. We redecorated a few rooms in our house. I committed to strength training. I started hobbies like tennis and basketball. I spent a lot of time in my community group doing walking and running with them to help women get their health on track. I visited with my college friends for the first time in 20 years, and I also coached my daughter's basketball team. A lot of those things weren't on my vision board, and they were just incredible, and I'm celebrating myself for them today. Most of those things were on my vision board, and I am celebrating myself for that, because of the commitment I had to my vision, that I'll teach you guys over the next couple of weeks, of how I was able to keep that vision alive and to keep my health in alignment with that, so I could basically have this incredible vision that I get to celebrate for myself today. If you're thinking about all of this, or you're going through your phone and you didn't take a lot of pictures, or you had a hard year, or you feel like you're being hard on yourself because you didn't do enough, that's all the negative gremlin thought thinking that's going in your head, that is going to keep you stuck from achieving the goals that you want this year. So I want you to put all of that aside, and I want you to say, I'm celebrating even the small things, especially the small things. Right? Did you get up early and take care of your kids? Did you make them lunches? Did you take time for yourself? Did you start walking this year? Did you make sure you did the dishes or laundry in your house? Did you meet your friends for coffee? Like those little things also count. They're good for you. They're good for others. They're good for your home. They're good for your work life. They're good for your health. And even if you believe that they're really small, they're not. They're huge. You are doing so much more than what you think you are. And I want you to celebrate all of that stuff for yourself today. And if you're still feeling like, well, I don't see a lot in my camera roll, then maybe you need to take more pictures. Okay. In any case, reflect on that and really think about that. Okay. The second thing that you're going to do is you're going to write down what you've accomplished. Now, what's cool about writing down your accomplishments is that they may overlap with your celebrations. I want you to write them down anyway. Okay. You'll be amazed at what you can achieve when you see it all down on paper. So, all of the things that you feel like you've accomplished. Again, some of the things that I accomplished, such as, starting to run, doing strength training, lifting heavier weights, starting hobbies, finishing my book. Those are also accomplishments. And I want to continue to celebrate myself for that type of thing. And it's really important for me to think about all of the things that I did, not just celebrate for myself for all of the highlights or the things that I felt were really good in my life. Again, it raises your energetic vibration and helps you feel closer to where you want to go. If I write down I accomplished doing a 100-pound squat, that's amazing. So when I decide I'm going to continue strength training, I might think, awesome, I'm going to do a little bit more than that, right? I'm not going to be hard on myself if I didn't meet a goal this year. I'm going to celebrate myself and talk about what I accomplished so I can get more of that. At the very least, I'm going to get more of the same of what I feel proud of. And when I put it on my vision, I'll be able to reach even further. The third thing, and this is kind of hard, okay? You're going to write down the hard stuff. It's also interesting because some of the challenges that I have also overlap with my accomplishments. For example, I finished my book, but one of the challenges I had was getting up at 4 o'clock and 4:30 in the morning so that I could finish my book. One of the things that I accomplished this year was my financial goals in my business. However, I also took extra time in the evenings to be able to work with clients, which took me away from some of the time that I could have spent with my kids. There's some other things, challenges that happened this year. My daughter was hospitalized. My mom and stepdad died last year, and I had to deal with their estate this year. I was preoccupied and not able to be present with my kids because of a lot of the hardships that went on. Was I present sometimes? Absolutely. Again, I'm not going to beat myself up for it. But what I want to do is to show that there are hardships because that's important for the next part that we're going to do. All right. So for the fourth step, you're going to use gratitude. Now, gratitude is your secret weapon. The cool thing about gratitude is that you get to look at all of the things that you celebrated, all of the things that you accomplished, and all of the things that were hard and express gratitude for those things. What you can say is, I'm so happy and grateful that, and then you just let your heart sing. And I'm going to go through some of the things that I wrote down for myself so you can see how I can bring hardship into gratitude and celebration into gratitude, right? I'm so happy and grateful that my daughter is okay. I'm so happy and grateful that selling my mom and my stepdad's house was easy. I'm so happy and grateful that even though I had a year of working hard on my book, I also had a great year of working with my clients. I'm so happy and grateful that for my partner who has been able to keep the house flowing smoothly and financially well so that I could work on my book and I could do the hard things that were a part of my life this year. I'm so happy and grateful for the clients that I have and the new friends that I've made through the hobbies that I've started, like tennis and basketball. So you can see that I can take the things that I celebrated and my accomplishments and the hard things, and I can put them into gratitude. That's raising my energetic vibration so that I can start creating a vision out of what's already good and what has been challenging for me. Then I can start reaching for the goals that I want. Okay. So the next step is that you're going to look ahead. This is the part where you start thinking, okay, what are the things that I want to stop doing? What are the things I want to continue doing? And what are the things that I want to start doing? This is when we start to home in on the vision that you are creating for yourself. Okay. So using again, all of those things that you just wrote down, you can start asking yourself, what are the things I want to stop doing? Now, the things you want to stop doing can be actual actions that you want to stop doing, like scrolling on your phone. Maybe you want to stop getting up and working first thing in the morning. Maybe you want to stop working through your lunch period, right? Maybe you want to stop um, being so being hard on your kids for any reason. There's a number of things that you could stop doing, right? When you're thinking about what you want to stop doing, it can also be a part of the thoughts that you're having. I want to stop being hard on myself. For me, I want to stop worrying about my book and follow through with publishing and stop taking like little tiny nitpicking actions on it that are just because I'm scared of what the world's going to think about it, right? I want to stop worrying about that. Um, there's plenty of things that I want to stop doing. And so saying that out loud is really helpful for me to be able to take pause in my life and say, well, that's something that I wanted to stop doing. The next thing that you're going to ask yourself is what do I want to continue doing? So obviously the things that I celebrated and that I accomplished, I would love to keep doing those things. And the cool thing is I know that it's possible for me to continue to do those things because I did them already. So I already have a leg up. I want to continue with my hobbies, playing tennis and basketball. I want to continue to travel around the world, maybe visit the Caribbean again, maybe go somewhere just for myself, right? I want to continue building my business and working with clients. I want to continue writing, even though I'm not going to write another book this year. I do want to continue writing. I want to continue journaling that process. I'm going to teach you that process because that's a part of bringing the vision alive. I want to continue to do that so I can manifest my vision. I want to continue running 5Ks and joining in my community. And I want to continue playing with my kids. We've been playing a lot of games lately, and I want to continue that. All right. Now, what do I want to start doing? This is the question that we typically ask ourselves, like I said in the beginning, right? It's like, oh, I haven't done any of these things. I really should start all of these things and la, 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 all of that thinking that we have in our head about all the things that I need to start doing. That's when things get overwhelming, when you ask yourself that question first. That's why we're asking ourselves that last. I've risen myself up. I talked about what's hard. I have gratitude in my life. Oh my gosh, I'm closer to who I want to be and where I want to be than what I thought. How amazing is that? Okay, so what I want to start doing. Obviously, what the number one thing I tell my clients is that when you're thinking about the goals you have in your life, the number one thing that I want you to write down is anything that has to do with your health. I tell my clients you can have all of these goals, ambitions in your career and connected relationships, but the number one thing that will get you there, that will get you closer, other than journaling and manifesting and doing your vision board, is your health. When you can set your health on repeat, when you can feel good about your body, when you know that your health isn't something you need to worry about, that it's not something you need to spend money on, that it's not something that you need to beat yourself up about, everything else comes easier. So what I want you to do is to start with what do I want to start doing? If it's anything for your health, I want you to write that down. Okay. That's going to get written down first because it literally is the most important thing. It's the gas in your tank. It's going to help you get through all of the other things that you want to start doing. Okay. So maybe you want to start cooking from recipe books more. Maybe you want to start walking 5,000 steps a day. Maybe you want to start meditating for 5 minutes per day. Maybe you want to start lifting at the gym twice a week. Whatever it is that you want to do that you know is good for you. And if you're not sure, you can obviously ask me some of those questions in the Zoom room after this. I'm happy to guide you in the direction of your health. You want to start doing those things. For me personally, other things that I get to do because my health is set on repeat, because I do feel good about myself and I am confident and I don't have to work so hard on that piece anymore. I did at a period of time years ago, right? But I've learned about how to take care of myself. Obviously, that's my job. That's what I help people do now. But I want to speak to more large groups. I want to start doing connected and romantic things for my partner. I want to play with my dogs more. I want to start collaborating with people and businesses. All of those things are really important to me and they're taking priority, but my health is set on repeat. And so I'm asking for these things from the universe because I've made them easier based on what I've already set into play for my health. So make sure you include that part. All right. And then the last thing that you're going to do is to get specific with your results. Okay. So this is about the taking action piece. We will learn how to take this action. But if you want to start thinking about anything that you can start today, you've got to make it specific. Okay. So for me, I might say I want to help 100 women this year so they can have a positive impact on their health, well-being, and their families. I will generate enough income to save for my kids' education, enjoy travel, and embark on creative projects. I will meditate daily to calm my mind and be present with my family. I'm not just being specific, but I'm also going into the why. What is it going to impact? What impact will it have? Right? If I'm going to do strength training twice a week, but it's meaningless, I'm not going to do it. But if I'm going to do strength training twice a week so I can build muscle and I can feel more confident about myself, and if I need to lose weight for any reason, then I might say I want to do strength training so that I can have a healthier lifestyle and I can feel strong enough to be here for my kids, or to feel more confident in my body at work or anywhere else in my life. Right? So give it a why. I will take time to relax, recharge, and reconnect with myself. So I'm not just saying I'm going to relax or take midday breaks every single day. I'm going to say it's going to help me reconnect with myself. So see how you can make it really, really important. A part of my job as a coach is to help women make these things really, really important, non-negotiable in your life, non-negotiable. Because if we walk around saying like, oh, it doesn't really matter, years and years and years are going to go by where this kind of thing doesn't matter. And you're going to look back and say, oh, I wish I could have. I should have. Right? We got to get out of that should have place and into our hearts and into creating these visions. The last thing that I do is I create a vision board. Now, you can do this through cutting magazines. You can do this through an app called Canva. Canva, you can pick a template and then you can Google some of the keywords from the vision or from the steps that you wrote and see if you can find images to drag into there. What I want to do for you guys now is that anybody who wants to join me in my Zoom room. Oh, Sarah wanted me to make the image larger. Sorry, Sarah. You know what? If you want to join me in my Zoom room, I'll share that one. And I will also share my my vision from the template, the digital one in Canva. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and put my Zoom link in here. This is going to be, whenever I share my Zoom link, it's a private session for us. So I'm going to go ahead and shut down the live training. I'm going to meet with anybody that wants to come into the Zoom room. We will talk about vision boarding. We'll talk about goals that you have. And I can't wait to see you guys in there. So I'll see you in just a second.